just jealous? Are you 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 just jealous? Cause we're the VG boys. Are you just jealous? Are you just jealous? Are you just jealous? Are you just freaking jealous? Are you just jealous? Cause we're the VG boys.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Are you just
Repeat.
jealous? Are you just
Repeat. No, we're not gonna we're not gonna repeat 2 times on you.
Why not?
We know how
we
jealous.
Just love it so much.
We know exactly how jealous,
How are
It
you?
sounds
Adam?
a little egomaniacal. Good, man. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm so ready to push forward into 2021. Not like it's going to make any tangible difference, but maybe a mental difference. You know what I mean? A state of mind difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should mention that this podcast should be debuting, I guess, the first Monday of the new year. But we're actually recording it the day before New Year's Eve. So recording a little bit in the past for when you're hearing it, but that's how we got to roll.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it gets there to you.
Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, we definitely had a few things that we wanted to kind of wrap up 2020 with for this podcast. Because we had a few things we were talking about earlier, ended up missing like the Game Awards and Cyberpunk release. So
I feel like we didn't miss a whole lot. Not to insult the entire industry, but
no, it was a weird year. I mean, I feel like video games definitely had some stuff come out, and the Game Awards was definitely a cool show to watch. It was definitely strange having everyone remote. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, how many things can we say this year that was strange for these reasons? So
pretty much everything.
I guess just
across the board.
And at least this is a digital medium in itself, so it's not exactly that far behind. But still, it was good that we were able to watch it, though.
I mean, there's so many things obviously that were affected this year, but Cyberpunk probably most of them all. We'll get to that later.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll take it easy and just start with the Game Awards. So
because usually we usually will start mentioning this like earlier in probably in the summer when they even start announcing like some of the things that might be coming out, and yeah, we didn't even do that this year. So this is a complete recap kind of thing. So some old news to some of you, but we still like to talk about it.
Yeah, we got it. It's good stuff. This is what it's all about. So let's just get right to the point and say Last of Us Part 2 pretty much took the most important awards, Game of the Year, etc.
Swept the whole thing. Oh my God, look at this list. We got
best game direction,
adventure,
best narrative, slam dunk,
audio design, innovative accessibility, even best performance from
that's cool
Laura
though.
Bailey.
That's a nice award to win.
I mean, yep, that was. I mean, this game definitely had a lot of controversy. I mean, it was one of those. Everyone was looking forward to it when it was coming out, and a lot of drama with like the whole part of the gameplay spillage with like that. Again, I'm not looking to spoiler things. I still haven't played it, but it was spoiled for me on Twitter, as I'm sure many had the same issue of developments of the plot that a lot of people didn't agree with. And then having listened to people that have played it, because I just have not had a chance to yet.
You see, I'm going to drop a bomb on you right now. Ready for this one?
Sure.
I haven't played it yet.
Oh my God. Well, me too. So
you too. Also, are you serious?
Yeah, seriously, I haven't had a chance.
Oh my God.
It came out, and I was.
We haven't played the game of the year, Sean.
Yeah,
but you know why? I have a reason. Here's my reason. You ready? Because I didn't complete the first one either.
Oh well, that's just bonkers, man.
I just don't listen. I know. I got far into it. I just didn't have time to complete it. Moved on to other games, and that's just what happened. So I didn't want to start this one without finishing that one. That's just
I hear you.
How I roll.
I think I was just trying to clean up my my collection. I was trying to, this year was trying to push through the games that I've been sitting on shelves for a while.
Yeah, I did a bunch of that too.
Buy that one. I do have a few people offering to loan it to me, so I will be taking advantage of that at some point. I honestly expected to have played it by now, but
make sure you get everybody's copy, just so you have it, just in case.
All the games of the year. But it either way, I was like watching a few people play that were showing me some of their gameplay. It definitely looked amazing, and even like it was funny. Like I have a coworker that him and his daughter were both. It was funny. I think bought the game 3 times because I think his son, his daughter, and himself all wanted to play it.
Yeah.
So he had to buy a used PS4 because his kids took both PS4s for the house. So he's
That's
like, in
what
order to play
happened,
this, I need to buy another one. So the 3 of them were playing, I guess, like along the same paths. Where he was just telling me, he's like, an emotional thing comes out. My daughter comes out like crying, and he's like, and he like mentions the part, and she's like, yeah,
That's the one.
so it definitely seemed like this was an emotional experience for a lot of people. So I can understand having
It's
spoken
Naughty
to
Dog,
people that
right?
played it.
Who made
Is
this
Naughty
game?
Dog? That I honestly don't even know.
Either
which
way,
is shameful. But yeah,
it was
I don't
the
know
first
who
one was cool.
Yeah,
I enjoy I told you I liked Uncharted 4 a whole lot, right? So
sure.
all these like narrative driven, like these story driven games that
Right.
just sort of flex the muscle of the PS4 for its time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I loved Uncharted in the game that came over. I've said it before,
Yes, I don't think you would. They're similar in looks, but this is definitely more of a game. I feel like, whereas Uncharted, there were a lot of cinematic moments and like almost like you were
Yeah.
watching the game a bit. Like that.
Yeah,
That's
it
how
was.
that
It played
experience
out like a
felt for
movie
me.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's a
not
puzzle
a bad
game.
thing by any means. It's just that was that game, and
Besides
this
all
was
that,
a
like at
bit
its heart, it's
puzzle.
just a puzzle game, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a bit of everything in this one. Although I don't know, I feel like you had a bunch of combat in Uncharted as well, like helicopters shooting at you and all that, like wacky
Oh,
stuff. Like, there was
dude, and the
definitely
part where you have to, when you're on the motorcycle and you have to shoot the motorcycle gangs that are chasing you, dude, out of hand.
yeah,
So much fun.
But this style of game is definitely fun. And like I said, just looking at how it ran, like to me, it was almost like another Red Dead Redemption 2 moment. Like when that game first released, how gorgeous that looked. This was in that
Oh
same
yeah.
style for like
For some reason,
PS4.
as gorgeous as it was, I couldn't get into
Beautiful.
that game.
I mean, it's fine. You're not a Western fan anyway, so that
I wasn't.
kinda
No.
already,
But our
takes care
buddy
of that,
Brad,
but-
who is, he said he couldn't get
Yeah.
into it either, and he like loved the
Interesting.
first
I mean,
one.
I definitely put it down for a bit, and I ended up completing it. I think the end either this year or last year. I can't remember when. It was definitely within like the year, I'd say. But again, like whatever, I had to put it down. I picked it back up, and it was amazing. Great game. So same thing
Now,
with.
I feel like Ghost of Tsushima got like robbed a little bit in this
mean,
particular awards show.
it's
I
one
mean,
of those
all that
things where,
won was
like-
what? Best art direction? Yeah.
and player's voice. It won player's voice also.
Did it also? Okay.
Which what the hell is that like player's choice? Like I don't really understand that award to begin with. I'm gonna go with yes, it's player's choice. But it's tough. Like how do you like with awards? There's gonna be losers and there's gonna be some controversy.
Yeah.
It's weird where like Last of Us Part 2, it almost became like a joke when you're hearing this title so many times, where it's like, are they just handing it to them? But again, having not played it, I don't feel right really saying otherwise because everyone that played it, like there was people online talking smack, and I think it's like the whole like there was controversy with Abby and like the whole plot twist that was spoiled. But either way, everyone that's played it that I've talked to had said what a fantastic game it was that they couldn't put it down. So I have to go with the people I know, not the internet peeps that could just be trying to rate a game for just.
So I didn't even notice this
the
prior to
politics.
us talking about this Game Awards show in general. Best action game, Hades actually won that category.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's wild to me. I mean, that's a cool game, but what's it up against? Doom Eternal.
And that was on my my list there to play.
Doom Eternal, Half-Life, Star Wars Squadrons was actually in the category, and that Walking Dead game, Saints and Sinners, and Marvel's
right,
Iron
Saints
Man
and Sinners.
VR. Oh, that's best VR. Okay.
Yeah,
No, best.
so
I'm looking
good.
at best VR. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was I think Half-Life Alex won that one, which I don't even. That must be a PC one. I don't.
Best
think that came out
mobile
for
game is
PlayStation.
Among Us too. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, Among Us was fun. I think that won best multiplayer, right? Yeah,
Dude,
it was fun.
best role playing game, FF7
Oh, yeah.
remake.
I mean, you know what? Good.
The winner.
They did a good job. They did a good job. They also won best music. Best music also for the 7 remake, which I will definitely attest.
Yeah, it was deserved.
The music was definitely granted, it's themes that but just vamped up again, and you're in it. Like that fight thing, I have like one of the PS4 themes where like the fight music is just playing when you're on the PlayStation home screen.
Yeah.
So every time, even like in the home, like
yeah, that's what's up.
Excellent.
So that was deserved.
No, it's worth. Best
let's go back to best RPG for a second. Hold on. So
okay,
let's talk about the few games that were involved. Right, FF7 remake, which won, Genshin Impact. Okay,
which is like an MMO.
Yes, but many people say it was sort of a Zelda ripoff. I saw online a side-by-side video of Breath of the Wild.
Ripoff?
Well, they literally ripped off certain like animations. Like his climbing animation.
Sure.
Same animation.
All right, fair enough.
It was just a weird, quirky thing where I don't know.
We have a friend that played it, and I'm not interested. It's just another MMO to me doesn't really.
Okay, so check it out. I just wanted to list the games. Like, this is interesting to me. So FF7 remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. I heard a lot of people, from what I've read online, love the Yakuza game. Wasteland 3 is like, for some reason, this game eluded me completely. I have no idea about this whatsoever. Persona 5 Royale was absolutely amazing. So for me, it's between those three. Not to just discount Impact, but I will. But for me, it's probably between those three games.
Everyone that played remake really loved it. The only complaints they had, I guess, was that
a lot of people were having conniptions about it too, man.
Well,
their hearts were broken that things were changed.
Maybe.
The butthurt that I read online for weeks and weeks when that first came out was a beautiful thing.
But they played it still, like regardless, like whether or not.
Absolutely,
changed,
they played it.
They all played through it, and I'm sure
that's
played
nostalgia
through it
right there. That's like for a whole generation of guys like us who are our age group, and maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. I mean, remember this crap, man. And it's getting the treatment that it should have, graphically and all that.
In some things that but again, like you have that original game to play. Would it have been cool to just have the original game updated with better graphics and stuff? Sure, but they were trying to do a spin. I think the only thing that I heard people complaining about was they have like a bit of like there's like some Kingdom Hearts ish things thrown in.
Guess.
Not style, but like
there would be no Kingdom Hearts if it weren't for games like this. So it's like whatever.
Well, no, I'm saying like the summons aren't like you just summon in the battle. They're like in the combat. Like there was just a few changes that were a little strange for a Final Fantasy VII game, but they didn't make the game like play like garbage or anything like that.
They're probably just trying to bring it into modern what people are used to.
Sure, but honestly, I'm like. Other than Persona, which again, that's another one that I feel guilty saying I haven't even played.
Oh, it's so good, really dude. You got to check it out. Yeah, you would love it.
Earlier ones, I definitely would like to, but it's another one that seems like a big time sink to.
It is.
Beat it.
It is, but to get into it, like the first couple hours, you can enjoy plenty of it. I think.
Okay, so eventually,
so it's worth a start.
I will go in at some point, but it isn't now, and it's not right now either way. So again, to me. I thought this was always going to win this category, in my opinion. Just the amount of people that were clamoring for it in the first place, and that it wasn't like a huge disappointment. Sure, a few butthurt people online, but like majority of people loving it.
How often do you clamor?
I mean, for this game was.
I was clamoring hard, bro.
We've talked about this game coming out and not coming out. Oh,
dude, I thought it would never come out. Honestly, never. I really believe never.
So, that's what I'm saying. I knew when this game came out that it was going to be winning the RPG.
For sure, something. Yeah.
So
winning the hearts at the least.
Yeah.
Of all or most.
One thing that I'm not surprised considering the amount of people, like especially during lockdown, I think it was just a perfect combination of the best family game going to Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Like even though the categories were all good, there's no way that this game wasn't winning something this year. Like everyone was hooked on it during like the entire lockdown. Like that was all anyone. You couldn't
complaining
get this game.
As hard as they possibly can.
For what?
Like they were sitting on the toilet too long. Dude,
I mean, whatever.
Dude, I read complaints upon complaints. Complaints upon complaints.
It's silly.
I gotta call them out a little bit.
It.
A little bit. I loved
all
it.
I read
but
was people loving it. That's all I read online.
Really? Oh man,
my
no,
God,
I heard a lot of mixed
can't
reviews
I
for sure.
can't play enough of this game. I can't that's all I read. Everyone was going super crazy. I think my wife was definitely into it. I'm not a big fan. I prefer Stardew Valley, but I did play a little bit like after when she was taking a break for the day
Yeah,
because you can only cut your trees so many times or basically I know how you play the game, but like she had to take a break, so I would play
right.
for a bit. But we got her brother got into it, her father got into it, her
Stardew?
friends got into it. No. Animal Crossing,
Oh, okay.
because they can like make their own. Like they're all into like the decorating and stuff like that. This like is a family game. Like I said, I watched my entire family head into this, so
Oh
I can
yeah,
attest that it's a family game for sure.
dude, that was one of the biggest games of the year, and like got
hmm
no recognition.
I was a little surprised that this wasn't going to be game of the year, but again, Nintendo's also
Dude,
like
honestly,
a
I
small
thought
club in itself.
I thought that game was like the dark horse, like
Yeah,
sneaky victor of game of the
right,
year, because you remember
right.
how popular it was
Yep, that's
for a
exactly what I was
while,
thinking too.
like 2-3 months, like of straight
Yep,
nonstop
yep.
posts
And
of
then like,
Animal
and
Crossing,
then
Animal
people put
Crossing.
it
Look at my
down,
island. Look at my house. Look at my room. Look what I've
but then
done.
they'd put it down, and then they'd have an update, and then people back in again. Like you
Yeah,
got sucked back in all over again. So yeah, it's not a complete surprise, but again, at least it did win something, which is good.
agreed.
Um,
Best action adventure. I want to talk about this category because for some reason this fascinates me. So there was 6 total games. I'll list them real quick. Last of
you
Us
mean the
Part
one that
2.
Last of Us Part 2 won again? Like,
Yes. Last of Us Part 2 stole this, right? In my opinion, it was the next title that I'm about to read, which is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I loved that game. Glitchy, yes, but
yeah,
brilliant, I thought. Anyway,
I
Ori and
didn't
the
think
Will
that
of the
was gonna win.
Wisps, Spider-Man,
Okay,
Miles Morales, which is to me a late entry at this point, but whatever.
right.
Ghost
So
of
not a chance.
Ghost of Tsushima, which I thought this would steal that too, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I thought sort of snuck in there.
Yeah,
But
that's a sneak in too.
right? Is it not? Like
Yeah,
you're just playing these games now. Like how
I
could it
don't think
possibly
I really liked the Star Wars game. I don't think that was a contender for
best action
this
game?
winner. Yeah, no. And again, having not played Last of Us 2, I can't attest, but that
I
is what
thought
everyone
Ghost of
was loving.
Tsushima should have won this category.
I think was definitely a close second. That was the one that I was like, oh, it could be this one because of
That's
how
what I
many
was
people loved
expecting.
it.
I
Like
mean, my
everyone,
personal pick was Star Wars, but who cares what my pick is? I mean,
right?
I didn't think that would
Again,
genuinely win.
I don't think it didn't deserve to be nominated. I just don't think it was going to win. Having played it and beaten it myself, I enjoyed it, but I just think that other things looked better. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I thought was like completely polished and everyone like that's a game that
It
even
just
though it's
looked
like the
beautiful. It was just a
yeah
brilliant little story and everything.
yeah and honestly the only reason that I did not play Ghost of Tsushima yet was because I figured I would just play it on the PS5, which I've
Mm.
yet to get still. But I figure why play this now? I will play it on the
Just spend
best possible.
$1,500 and buy it off a
Yeah,
scalper, man.
no thanks, no thanks,
No, nobody do that.
no thank
That was
you.
not serious advice. Nobody do that.
Yeah, they want those scalpers. Speaking of that, like I was reading like a couple million overall, like in like what they earned
Couple
from
million
profits,
what? Oh yeah.
dollars they've earned
Oh
like
yeah, that doesn't
collectively. Yeah,
surprise
it's
me at all.
insane. It's insane. Like outselling, like it's just it's
Well, the whole
disgusting. Is all
issue
it
is
is.
that people were using bots and multiple accounts
Yep.
to
Mm-hmm.
buy up all these things, and it was just
Yeah.
screwing
Ugh.
everybody who didn't do that. you
Yep.
know, it was
Yep.
unfortunate. I mean, I got mine because I was fortunate that I saw an
I
alert.
didn't think I'm gonna need to invest in a bot to just shop. Like,
How
it's
dare
just
you
one of those
shop?
things. Like, I just want to shop, and I need to get a bot to do so.
I guess right if you want
Completely absurd. Completely absurd. But anyway, I digress.
to.
Yeah. So action adventure, yes, of course, went to Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
In
man.
the
Not
how
to
about
say undeserved, but
no,
I was
I
just
know.
surprised. Just surprised. That's all.
I was happy to hear Phasmophobia winning the best debut game
Yep.
category. I did enjoy
A
playing
lot of
that
people
with
seem to
friends.
play that.
It's
I didn't
I
get
mean
into
it's
it.
definitely a bit glitchy and a bit weird, but it was a very cool concept, very spooky and freaky. Like I'm sure you would
Woo!
freak out a little bit playing this one. I was luckily playing with friends that kind of knew what was going on, So even though like there's things that were like scaring the crap out of us, we knew what we were doing. Whereas I think if I went in fresh to this game, it would have been like madness. Like you just be like, I don't know why I'm being killed by these things. I'm being haunted to death. So
yeah,
that was a good
I
one.
haven't played that, so but I did see how popular it's been and had a good year, so that doesn't totally shock me.
Yep, I'll definitely be jumping back into that at some point. But Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout won Best Community Support.
Yeah, and they pumped the hell out of the new season also.
I'm sure. Yep.
Pushing it.
I did not play it. I watched some people
It's fun.
play it.
I've seen plenty of people play it.
It seemed a bit like gravity and the controls are a bit cumbersome and weird, but I guess that's the whole point is that it just seemed like you'd be getting frustrated for like simple things, but it's fun in the end. But like you're waiting, I don't know. I heard like
it's
my
a
mix of
goofy.
complaints,
It's a children's game, really. I mean, it's just.
But follow them on Twitter. They were pretty funny on Twitter, with things. So.
Oh really?
Watching, just some of the comments and stuff that I was witnessing was like, I could understand like them being that active there, and I guess also active.
That's sort of an interesting thing too, right? Because when I graduated college, about 10 years ago at this point, I remember back then that like the job of community manager, like online for companies, was just coming about. It's really a PR job,
right?
But more, online, technically driven. So I remember even back then that was becoming a thing, and now it's like a full-blown career because there's all these different private companies that need a presence online and someone who's active and stuff. I don't know. It just fascinates me because I just remember when it first started and it was barely like a legitimate career. It's just whatever company was willing to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were getting into. They just knew that it could potentially be helpful, and those of them that jumped in early, I'm sure it paid
now
off.
It seems necessary, right? Like you need to have
100%.
that community support person. Cool stuff, though, man.
Let me see here. The one thing that was surprising, that Twitch, the votes usually always call this every year, was for the best ongoing game, and Twitch usually says Fortnite, and Fortnite has like been the winner for like years. So No Man's Sky beating it was like not an upset, but like a kind of an upset that like
it was an upset. I would say clearly because look what it's going against. Like you said, Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone and Apex. So,
but like Fortnite is typically the winner, and it was surprising, even though like because you play with your son, like that's a game that like people still huge on. So I kind of was expecting it to go that way, and then it was funny. They had who was it? The Sean whatever the hell his last name that like did for No Man's Sky was like unprepared. He was like unprepared for his speech. It was hilarious. Like he was just like Fortnite always wins.
What do you mean, my game?
Yeah, he's just like thanks, I guess. Like what are you guys doing?
That's like when Eminem won his first VMA. He was like, "Oh,
yeah.
What do you mean, me? Right?
Yeah, I'm just a big.
For my name is. Hi, my name is. Oh my God.
No way.
Same situation though, man. You don't expect it, but sometimes your art pops off for some reason. But yeah, to go against Call of Duty Warzone and Fortnite, I was like just right there. I'm like, wow. And Apex was huge this year and last year. Unreal.
Let me see here. What else we got? Most anticipated game was Elden Ring, which I'm definitely interested in that one.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, looks really good. I don't think
tidbits that they give you.
But that's a Series X game though, right? That's I don't think coming to PlayStation.
No, I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be exclusive to Xbox.
Oh, I thought it was, or maybe I'm.
You could be right. I'd have to look that up, but that's
okay. But that one, from all the trailers that we had seen, like that one was a lot of people are definitely excited about. So I'm definitely not surprised that would be the game that wins that one. But
yeah, Xbox.
Let me see. I mean, like,
but it says
I don't know.
Novelist George R. R. Martin and will be released for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Okay. All right, good.
But that's the wiki, so who knows?
I mean, I feel like that's probably a little bit more up to date than other things. There must be another game I'm thinking of that's being held down. Maybe Star Citizen or something. I don't know. There's something that they're not
Star
getting. That looks
Citizen.
really awesome. Best esports game, Little League of Legends, which I'm still surprised is
worldwide.
still a
I'm not
popular
surprised.
game.
Yeah,
But it was a World Championship 2020 is specifically the I guess season of the game, because I guess they just keep releasing the stuff. I'm just surprised that game's still like, like they haven't made like a
still
League of Legends
relevant.
2
Yeah,
yet, right?
on the world, maybe not here locally, but for sure worldwide, it is. MK11 won best fighting.
Yeah, that was not a surprise considering all the things they put into it. Like I know I was tweeting out because I guess I just
All
wasn't
kinds of
paying
DLC
attention.
and whatnot.
What's I mean? Like the whole Terminator and Rambo, like all those like additions. I was like, oh my god, RoboCop, and you were like, yeah, they announced that like
Yeah.
a while ago. That's been out. It was like, I just found out today.
Yeah, I know. He was
today.
like so stoked. Like, do you believe this? I'm like, yeah, I believed it like a week ago.
Yep.
It's pretty funny.
But very cool. Yeah, I watched a lot of the YouTube like intros and all their like interactions with different characters. I was just like sitting there like, wow. It's just, hey, I'm here to, I'm fighting you.
I'm Drake.
You gonna change history?
Of course.
Dead
So
or
this is weird to
alive,
me. So check
you're
this out.
coming
Wait,
with
I don't
me.
want to conclude any Game Awards stuff before I talk about this particular category, right? So
Yeah, we're not
best
done yet.
family
Yeah.
game, which affects guys like us these days, right?
We
You
were just
gotta
talking
have
about that
good
one, was
family
Animal
games.
Crossing.
We did it in Animal Crossing 1, but look what lost though. I heard Paper Mario was awesome. I didn't play Paper Mario.
Okay,
I played the Yoshi game with Meg, but
fair enough.
not
Yeah.
Paper Mario.
I did hear good things, but then it like died as quick as it was clamoring for.
But this
That
is
was
what's
another one that
weird
everyone was like,
for me,
"Oh!"
right? Check this out. This is what's weird for me. The Mario Kart Live home circuit game, like, it's a family game, but to me, that's like a totally different type. Maybe I'm wrong, but like
the
a
one with the
totally
remote
different
control
type
car?
of gimmick thing, right? That's what it is.
Is that the remote control car one?
It is, yes.
Yeah, I just found out about that like on Christmas because someone Snapchatted. I had no idea this thing existed.
No,
I'd
it's
seen the remote
cool.
control
It's a
car.
game, but like best family game versus these other things that are listed, Minecraft Dungeons and Fallout guys, like you said. I mean, Fall Guys rather. This is a weird one for me. I don't even know why it's nominated. Truthfully,
So for my opinion on this is having known it exists now, and what it does. If you had that in your home, and let's say your son was playing it, like there's no way you're not going to be watching on the television with him going through the house with like your cat getting in the way and all that crazy stuff. Like it was like I was watching on Snapchat because it would like my buddy had his playing
dogs,
and his cat like literally parked in front of his track, and like on the TV you see the cat sitting there with the coins and stuff. Well, it's just like it was like
thanks, Fuzzy Nuts. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you keep like backing up and trying to get the cat to move. But like I could absolutely see a family like being like stuck together watching this because it's your own home in this video game and everyone gets a turn with remote control cars.
Yeah, I don't think it's totally out of the realm, but when you look at the list of what else is there, like everything else is a traditional video game.
This is
like a weird,
sure.
I guess.
But
right?
I could see that being like a couch pulling the family to get, I mean, like anyone, even if you're not into video games, like grandparents would get a kick out of watching your little remote control car that's in front of you and like suddenly you're on the television because they're staring at you from you know what I mean? Like that would absolutely get people like, together as a family. So I don't think it would win for sure. Like, like you said, it's weird to be nominated, but I don't think it doesn't deserve to be in this category for that reason also.
Agreed.
But yeah.
So let's move on. That was the Game Awards show.
And,
Last of Us 2 did everything.
Two more. Well, I guess Game of Impact's not really a big one, but Best Sim, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
How long has it been since you heard like any simulator like winning a category?
I don't know.
And this was a game that I'd heard so many people talking about because it became like a weird like revenge thing with people where like you'd be like, let's say you don't like someone, and they would take a video of the plane crashing into like your house in the game, like because it's like almost GPS correct. So you just see people like crashing planes into your house, and it looks like realistic, like it's kind of messed up.
I just don't. Again, another weird category for me. Why would they blend in best sim / strategy game?
I mean, yeah, you'd think they'd be separate, but maybe I don't know if is it every year it's like this, or is it this year there just weren't that many strategy games
I don't know, but
worth mentioning.
they've got Gears Tactics and Crusader Kings 3, and then there's the one sim. There's no other sims.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
weird for me.
Yeah. It seems probably for those other tactic games, it seems like they got hosed on that one.
The Flight Simulator is probably just so popular, and they had no way to include it in any category. So they were like, it's not the best game.
It looks gorgeous. I would be very excited if my computer it wouldn't be able to run it at the best settings, and I feel like why playing it. But apparently they announced during the show that it will be coming out on the Series X, so those with the new Xbox will get the Flight Simulator. So I'm a little jealous. I'm a little bit jealous.
You're just jealous. Yeah, I'm freaking jealous. Yeah.
Because I will not be getting an Xbox.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, that was
So can I now put the bow on the Game Awards?
Yep.
So I really am excited to talk about something, but go ahead.
Yeah. During the Game Awards, there was a lot of announcements for games coming out, which I think is something we are both excited to mention. There's a lot of cool announcements for upcoming games worth looking into, right?
Oh, plenty. Dude, plenty. You saw these commercials, right? For Back 4 Blood? The spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead?
I was as I watched that like little gameplay session that they threw in, I was like, dude, we just talked about this in the podcast that we want another Left 4 Dead sequel, and here they are. It's not a Left 4 Dead sequel, but it is a successful sequel.
It is.
It just they are changing because I think the other one was like whatever disease it was for Left 4 Dead. Now it's like this other related disease.
Other crusty.
It's the same. Yeah, it's
make
the
you
same
a zombie
type
crazy.
Of thing. Yeah, exactly. But now they added like these behemoth-looking monsters and basically more special types with like other different like game modes that I guess didn't exist in the other one. So it would have been weird to introduce them unless they were going to like mutate the plague or something. But now it's something right from the get-go that they can add.
Mutate the plague.
And same thing with like the like 4 players that have like their own personalities that look like a group together. And yeah, it definitely seems cool. So that's supposed to release June 22nd.
Yeah, man. It's always nice to have a relevant game, right? Releasing of the plague, and now we need to be at home and release the plague, and
exactly.
Zombies are running around your neighborhood.
I was definitely excited when I saw that.
Do you remember seeing the video for Crimson Desert?
Yeah, absolutely,
dude.
So it looked
visually
sick.
One of the most insane things I've seen.
But, the combat parts of at least in the Game Awards, which maybe that was just poor lighting, it just seemed very dark to see, like almost that like shaky cam going on.
Yeah,
which games do, but it was like kind of hard to just witness the combat. But everything else looked amazing. It looks absolutely sick, and that's supposed to be, I think, winner of this year of 2021, I should say.
Yeah,
coming out.
Well,
yeah, Crimson Desert.
I don't have the date in front of me, but it's one of the ones that's coming soon. Then the Hood game, which people did know about because
I didn't know
anyone who has gotten lucky and gotten a PS5, they do advertise for that game a bunch.
Oh,
they
really?
sort of just they just put it in front of you a little bit, like here, there's coming soon.
Very stylish, and I like that it's like Robin Hood style. Like I don't know, they just showed a few really sick things, and it looked like you could do multiplayer.
It looked
with
fun.
That one too.
It looks like team oriented though. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it looks like more of a team oriented game where you're like part of a group of guys doing a bunch of things.
But I don't know if that's necessarily like a must-have kind of thing, or if I don't know. We don't know.
It
anything
looked cool.
About it.
I don't know if it's a must-have yet, but it looked cool. Mm-hmm. Then there's Vin Diesel, Arc 2.
Yeah. Arc 2. Yeah.
So weird.
I was like, is that Vin Diesel? And then he grunts and it was like, yeah, it's Vin Diesel.
And then you hear him do the classic, pitch black voice that he always does.
But, yeah, it looked almost like Horizon Zero Dawn with Vin Diesel. And instead of robots, live dinosaurs and orcs for some reason.
Yep.
I didn't play the first Ark, so maybe they belong, but like I was like, oh, this is just a weird.
Everyone knows that there was orcs when there was dinosaurs, man. So don't even try to say otherwise.
But yeah, the Horizon Zero Dawn aspect of like at the end where he's like, it looked like he's like in the system. So is it like the past or it's the future that everyone got like brought back to like cavemen times, but he is still a techno guy. It's like very strange. Like, all right, cool, I guess. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna hate on it, but whenever Vin Diesel's involved, there's
Yeah.
gonna be some deep talking and some scary
Oh,
stuff.
of course. They
So.
they had a Perfect Dark announcement for the Xbox.
They
of
did.
course,
That was cool.
I saw that. I was like, oh, nice throwback. They had the Sephiroth announcement for Smash Brothers.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, people are gonna be
Yes.
losing their crap about that one. I mean, it makes sense. Why not?
I saw the
Throw him in.
video footage, and it looks like he's gonna be cheese as can be.
I'm
so.
sure. But
People are
whatever,
gonna
it's
hate
fine.
it. Throw off the
It's
whole
fine.
balance of the whole game.
They'll
No,
rebalance that
it's
afterwards.
Sephiroth. Then everyone's gonna be Sephiroth.
They always do that.
Oh my
it
God.
takes a few patches.
Oh, they're gonna be so mad. I can't wait to read the reactions. So, you saw Evil Dead?
Evil Dead?
Dude, they're bringing. All right, so they're making an Evil Dead game.
I did not see that one.
In the same vein of Friday the 13th and Predators, like a group
Really?
fun
How did I miss
online
this?
game. Check it
You're
out.
kidding me.
So
Oh my
they brought
God.
back Bruce Campbell to voice Ash, which is
Of course.
amazing.
Of course.
He
How did
has
not
to.
do that?
You have to, which is brilliant. And yeah,
Holy
it's gonna
crap,
be one of
that's
these
amazing.
wild looking Evil
Wow.
Dead games that I'm definitely in for, man.
I mean, we're totally in. How do you not?
Now that you told me, we're in.
We played some
I just put
garbage
you
Evil
in.
Dead,
You're in now.
Army of Darkness. Like, what? Didn't they have that one on the Dreamcast? It was. I mean, either way, we played them.
Yes,
it came out.
We
and
played them
Our suckers and we
for
bought
better
them
or
'cause we loved
worse.
the series. We loved hearing Sam. What is it?
Sam Raimi?
Oh no. I was gonna say, Jesus, I'm forgetting his name. Bruce Campbell.
Bruce
Thank
Campbell,
you.
yeah.
I just love hearing him with his quips and stuff. It's just like, yes.
Oh,
this
it's
is
the best.
Ash.
That was
It's
the whole
best.
thing. The whole Army of Darkness, the one-liners and all that. So, love that movie.
They had that Scavengers game that looked kind of cool. Also looked. I don't know if it's like an MMO thing.
I didn't
It's in
catch the
beta.
Scavengers game. You were discussing
Yeah,
it with me prior.
it was a
so.
quick little trailer of, I don't know. It just looked like sort of like shooting in the ice or something like that. I don't know what it's about. It just seemed cool. So
There was shooting and there was ice.
yeah, it looked like you collect things, explore. I don't know if it's a team squad thing or what, but it's in beta. It looked interesting. It was something I caught my eye and I wanted to check it out. So, anything else that you were liking?
We covered the ones that I was most excited about. I mean, there's Callisto Protocol, which looked cool and like an actual new gen game. The Warhammer 40K Dark Tide game looked interesting, but I've never really delved too deep into those games. Elite Dangerous Odyssey looked really cool. But I'm glad that they're finally taking new gen stuff and just making new IPs, new ideas. I always appreciate that, even for better or worse. You know what I mean?
Had,
I like to.
That Century Age of Ashes game that looked kind of Panzer Dragoon
Yep.
with like multiplayer. That looked pretty cool. I figured that would have been up your alley. I'm surprised you didn't.
No, I didn't catch
jump
it,
at
but
it.
we discussed it, and yeah, I'll definitely look into that now. That looks that
They
sounds
had
good
that
to me.
game Returnal coming out where it kind of reminded me of like Mass Effect, but like more like an actiony shooter in a sense.
I'll just
but
wait for
like,
the new Mass Effect.
Well, I mean,
no,
we'll
I know,
see.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, they did announce it, but yeah, Returnal looked interesting. And they had a lot of games that to me really struck out because they just kind of seemed very like artistic in that sense and like just visually gripping. I don't know if I'm going to be into the game on some of them, but they had and I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Tachia, which just reminded me of very like a Moana, Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker style, where it's like a little girl that I don't know. People, it seems like she has some sort of gift, but it seemed like adventure and like a beautiful island, very very interesting artwork style. Same thing with Sea of Solitude director's cut coming out on the Switch, which I didn't know anything about this game. I'm assuming it came out in other things, but it looked like very odd, like on the water with like shadowy figures and stuff like that. Shady Part of Me looked kind of cool, where you're like it's like a storybook thing with the little girl in her shadow.
Yeah, I saw it.
That seemed like it could be fun. They had We Are OFK, which is like that kind of like a weird, like I guess you're a band. It said it's an interactive series, so I don't know if it's going to be like one of those they come out
starting
in
a
seasons.
band.
But the people that did Gone Home and Tacoma, I always enjoyed their games. That they were more of an experience for those kinds of games, not so much like a video game. It was more like you were exploring the world that they made for you, and they're making open roads which is like a mother-daughter road trip kind of thing where it's like the grandmother passed away and you're, I guess, going to her house or something. There's not a lot of info,
That
and it
doesn't
seems
sound
kind of
like a
like
good trip.
well, it was like a. But that's the whole thing.
No, I
These
know.
games are
I
usually
know what you
like
meant.
family oriented and stuff. So like that always appealed to me. I just like the way that they do it, and they usually have like good, crisp like dialogue and stuff. So that seemed good. Season, which is a horrible name for anything, because season's like the most common name of any of. It's the weather, it's everything. So now trying to find up things for a game is like season game, which sounds like you're an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but either way, it's like the kid that's like I guess he's a photographer or artist. He's like on a bicycle. It just seemed like a quiet but beautiful looking game. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And I just have two more to to mention.
Go
I
for
know,
it, man. Go
you're
for
out,
it.
but
You got to
Road
put people
96
onto some stuff.
Yeah,
What's it
Road
called?
96 looked very cool. It's also road trip style, but I think it's more like first person, and it kind of looked like almost like Borderlands style graphics. With it just seems like you're trying to, I guess, make it to the border because you're in a country that's gone wrong. So I'm thinking it's supposed to be like a parallel to like the U.S. and like all the zaniness going on here,
Yeah.
and because they have like it looks like President Trump style of the president of this game with like a similar
Nice.
like
Half the
like
people are going to love it, and half the people
Yeah.
are going to be disgusted by it.
it just was like I think it just is probably one of those things where you have a lot of choices to make. So it might be you could just escape, or you like make wrong decisions. You can like hitchhike with people. So it just seems like there's like a lot of choices, and I enjoy those kinds of games. It seems like a very story driven game, and they had a really cute one at the end. The It Takes Two. Did you see that one where it looks like
No.
kind of claymation ish? And it's like a
No, I didn't see it.
storybook with like a, I guess, a Hispanic accent, and they were
Okay.
like, it's like it looked like from what they described, it was a couple. I guess they show like their wedding album, and they get turned into these like clay doll looking things, and it
Okay.
seems like the whole thing is that you're trying to like fix their relationship, but it was lots of very cool looking action style gameplay
Well,
with like
claymation
that,
stuff is awesome.
which
It's
I
sort of
love. It's like my favorite. So
yeah, it's a lost art.
I was in for that already, and it just seemed like it could be a fun game. I don't know if the story's gonna be good. It from what it looks like though, it looks like they are really doing a good job with it. So that's
So
another one. It Takes
can
Two.
we talk about the absolute disaster that is Cyberpunk's release this year?
Yep, that is ultimately what
The
we're
absolute
ending with.
catastrophe. And it's gotten to the point where I just read an article 2 days ago
Oh yeah.
that the headline is CD Projekt Red investors sue company over Cyberpunk 2077 debacle. So it's not just the gamers that are upset.
I'm just gonna, because I saw a class action lawsuit related to this. I'm just gonna say
There's
right
two
now
of them,
that
but
like
yeah, go ahead.
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry. Like, listen, like this is a video game, and sometimes video games don't come out great. Whether or not they're gonna try and claim that they were like openly fraudulent, but they
What they
offered,
kind of were, though. They kind of
but
were.
listen, they offered refunds. So what is
Yeah,
the
but it
problem?
shouldn't have had
You
to
get
come. Listen, it shouldn't have had to come to that
All right,
to begin with.
maybe I'm not arguing like the ethics.
That's
of it,
stepping on your own
but
foot.
I'm
Like,
just saying, like, so you're gonna sue? Like, how many garbage games did we play on the Nintendo that were unplayable, unwinnable, frustrating, like barely a game? Do we get a class
that
action
was a
lawsuit
long.
for those?
No, you're right. That was a long time ago though, and millions of dollars now are poured into these games at a level
the
where
games,
it was
yeah,
like
but
it's a Hollywood movie at this point.
the game still sold like crazy. It doesn't make a difference. It's not like the game did poorly. Even with all the refunds and stuff going on, the game still sold like crazy.
Yeah.
There's no loss being taken that I'm aware of. I have not read it because that would be a huge article.
Well,
of
the
CD
refunds.
Projekt Red going under, etc. Even with the refunds, dude, that's what I'm saying. Even with the refunds counted in, they still are. It's a huge profit. Like this game is very successful
On
in
on
sense. And
PC,
I'm not like,
on PC they're in good shape, but on the consoles for the people who had Xbox Ones and PS4s,
Mhm.
that's who it really affected the most.
oh, I'm not
And
disagreeing
they sold
with
millions of copies.
Yep. And again, this is overall sales though, is because I've read a few different like statements coming out with it. There's nothing stating that this company is in like bad shape. It's just bad PR. and a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth, and they're the hot topic to discuss.
Yeah.
And I'm not defending this game because I'll get into my experience, which is not great. I still enjoy the game, and I'm not asking for a refund.
Sure. Okay.
Because, again, I think when eventually, and we'll get into that. All I'm saying is that I'm not like trying to die hard defend this game. I just, on the stance of people suing, it seems ridiculous. Like you didn't like, because like I've kickstarted things where they just have ran away with the money. Like that would be worth a lawsuit. Like you didn't do anything. They tried doing things. And you know what? Like it should be bad press. Not you get a lawsuit because you didn't show this one. How about all the parts
I
that
think
it did work
when it
on?
comes to these lawsuits, it's obviously the money, but it's also
Absolutely.
a lot of
It's all-
ego, a lot of egos being, taking some hits. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
millionaires being furious about, their reputations.
And again, for what? Like it's just silly. Like come
That's
on,
just
like
what it is, man.
because how about like you're focusing on these bad things, and honestly, we can go. I think we'll need to get into this. Like, whose fault do we go with this? Like, yes, they should have absolutely showed a base PS4 because I don't. I have the PS4 Pro that I'm playing it on, and it's definitely a lot of glitches and a lot of issues with that. And I've heard the base PS4 is like unplayable, which is a shame.
I saw somebody streaming the PC version, and they were
Uh-huh.
at a point where they were in the car and they were driving around like a bend. And you know those metal like dividers that they
Guardrails?
have, the guardrail? Yeah. The rear of the car this is a minor thing, but not really. The rear of the car got stuck into the guardrail. So the car couldn't continue to drive, and the car was part of the guardrail now.
Awesome.
You know, so, I mean that's the tip of the iceberg, obviously, because I've seen
we'll
so
talk
many
about more
ridiculous
because
things.
I have a bunch myself that I've experienced. But and again, we've talked about this with Days Gone, where when I first started playing it, my Twitter, if you look at my whole chunk
I remember.
of when Days Gone came
Yeah,
out,
it was some good
all
stuff.
I was doing was tweeting ridiculous glitches that were like the game either had to be restarted, or I died, or it was just something I had to just deal with. And to me, that's funny. I understand these new games.
Yeah, a glitch
there's a
here
lot
and there.
going-
I mean, there are plenty of games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we've talked about Skyrim being one of my favorites of all time. That game was chock full of
Oh
glitches
my god,
and
horribly.
tons of
And many
games
others, and
have
many others.
issues.
Fallout, the same thing. There's things that happen. And granted, yes, Cyberpunk seems to have a good chunk, like a lot more.
There's a few
than
game-breaking ones though that are a big problem.
and those I will definitely say are definitely need to be addressed. And I'm pretty sure they were though. Within
Well,
a
there's
few
one
days.
still that I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but as of
Yeah.
today, as far as I understand, one of the glitches where if like a save file is bigger than whatever the threshold is, 8 megs or
fixed.
whatever. Okay, if it's better,
was
if it's bigger than that, it'll like totally
they
corrupt
fixed
the
it.
file. They fixed
The
that.
most recent patch fixed it.
Okay.
And from what I understand, the only way that even became a possibility was from people where and again, it's an in-game exploit of like duping items and stuff. So it's like you're messing with the game, like really. Like, and yes, I understand people are like, well, if it's in the game, it counts. Like you're doing something that really wasn't intended, and it ended up like causing a problem with the thing. I don't think your game should be deleted, but
Yeah.
you're clearly you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, and it caused the problem. I haven't heard
Yeah.
anyone being like, "Well, I just played it normal when it happened." Like, I don't think so. Like, let me see your save file.
Oh
See how
man,
truthful you
it's
are.
so bad though.
Like,
This company
it's a
definitely took a kick in the junk, and they just mishandled it completely in an inexcusable
hold on.
way, really.
Talking about while we were on that other subject, before we move on from that, of the save file, like we had a friend that had it on the Xbox Series X, and he had an issue where his save got corrupted for whatever reason, lost the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. And he's like, yep. And I'm not restarting the game. I'm just getting a refund. I returned it right to Target. And it was like, well, what about, why don't you load another save? He's like, well, no, it's the one save. And I was just like I had a moment where I'm like, what? What do you
Yeah.
mean you're one? What is the matter with you? How old are you? How long have you been playing games? Who has
Yeah.
one save file? I have
Yeah.
not had one save file since like the Super Nintendo games. Like that was the
That
last
doesn't
time.
that doesn't excuse the glitch though. At the same
Dude,
time,
hold on. I'm not saying it excuses the glitch, but I'm saying like as a game playing person, you don't have one save file. This is like standard thing. You on the PC, it's much easier because you just do a bunch. But like Skyrim, do you have one save file of Skyrim?
No. But you can make multiple
is,
characters usually.
No, I'm talking about of your one character that you're playing. Do you have one save
well, no,
file
there's
for that
also
one
auto
guy?
saves as well. So you have like 4 saves,
Yep.
no matter what.
And do you not have more than one manual save file though? You have to. There's no way anyone does it.
Yeah, I usually
You
do.
have to. I've had games completely block me out. Mass Effect on the Xbox 360 once got me stuck in an elevator that I had to reload like from the beginning of the planet because it was just an infinite thing. And that was already me knowing what to do at that point. Like Fallout 4, I have like a good 50 saves going on. It just, to me, I'm baffled when I heard that. I was like, how do you not have? And he responds, I've never had a save file corrupt in my life. Like, well, you can't say that anymore, can you? Make more saves.
Yeah, that's bad.
This is our PSA. Make a few saves in a game, for God's sakes.
At different points too, right? Sometimes you just feel like if something goes south, I'm going to make a separate save. So if it doesn't go south, I can continue. And if it does, I have this other one. I agree with you there.
Absolutely. It's just, it was just crazy. And again, I am not defending that. All I'm saying is that like you should not have had to completely start a brand new game because your one save got, like, that's on you. Like, what if your kid came in and deleted your save? Same thing. You should have a few.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah,
there's only time.
Like, contingencies. But anyway, going back to the outrage. That's a game-breaking thing. Another game-breaking thing that I had happen to me in my game. They had this thing that I believe has been patched, or maybe it's just not as common. So you have like, there's just tons of things to grab in the game, and they have like ammo boxes everywhere. It's a shooter game. You find ammo. Some ammo boxes will have a negative connotation onto it, which is not supposed to happen. So I went from having handgun ammo of like, say, a couple hundred, picked up one negative ammo crate, brought me to negative 999,987.
Oh no.
So I owed bullets. That's what they're telling me. You can't shoot. The game is,
you're in the hole for bullets.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
And honestly, it ended up being, I played a little bit longer using different weapons. I'm like, I'll figure this out eventually, whatever. Well, it's not a big deal. I have other weapons. And then eventually the game blue screened, so it exited me. And then reloading the save file fixed everything.
What platform did you buy it for?
I'm on the PlayStation 4. So
okay,
is what I'm playing on. Which is majority of the issues. Which day one playing it, I played for a couple hours. I had at least 3 blue screens exit me from the game in that first night playing.
That's brutal.
They patched it again. A little bit less, but I was guaranteed, and I don't know if that's changed because it's been a few days since I played, but I was guaranteed during my playthroughs to have at least one blue screen exit me, which it stinks. I'm not gonna lie,
it's terrible.
I don't like
straight
that
crashes.
But I save often, as you should be anyway. It's just something that's conditioned, so it's not like a lot lost. They do have an auto save, so I was never really far back, but it takes you out of it. And graphically, I see all these people on the PC with beautiful games, and I'm very jealous again because
it's a big investment, man.
Looks really nice in certain parts, and then suddenly I walk into like another crowded area, and people are not fully rendered. Like you just see them
fuzzy faced,
pop in, and then get detail, and suddenly they have details. It's like, oh, or like I know because my map shows that the icon that I'm supposed to click on for the the quest is here, but it's not like happening. And then then the surrounding area loads, and then there it is. It's like
it renders over time.
Yep.
Oh man. But I remember before the game released, like a couple, like 2-3 weeks before, they were like, "Don't worry, guys, it's still gonna release on this, third rescheduling release date." However, the biggest issue is trying to figure out how the game will play on the next gen systems. That's what they said to people.
That is what they said. You're right. Which is the complete opposite.
Right. So most people who don't have the next gen system yet and just are happy playing it on the PS4 or the Xbox One, we're like, "Oh, sweet. Okay, so we don't really have to worry. We just have to basically wait for it to release, and then we'll play and be happy, and it's waited this whole time, and it's going to be great." And it totally blew up in their faces. After the release date, their stock dropped like 31%.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, bad press will always do that, and
but that's a lot, though.
I'm not saying it isn't. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely worth mentioning. But
And that's why the investors are like, screw this. Why should I take a loss? My stock is worth it's not nothing, but it's worth a lot less now.
yeah, but
So
if
they're
a
like, we
game,
got to recoup this money somewhere.
if a game just does poorly in general, the company usually takes a loss anyway. Isn't that also true? Like, I'm not saying like the
A
bad press
temporary loss, yeah.
but it also happens, and that's
But
kind of the whole
this is a big smear on the company though. Even though they had success in the past, and what they make Witcher 3, right? That was
Witcher
their
3,
last
yep.
huge title,
Mhm.
and that did
Yep.
super well. So people had tremendous expectations for this game because they trusted the company to come through.
Mhm.
And they sort of did, like you said, but what a dropping of the ball, man. I mean,
And you know what
totally
though, dude? And honestly, um, I gotta say that this is kind of also a big shame on you to all the people that were, up in arms of, oh, I'm gonna delay this again. I said this before it released. I don't mind if they
to
release if
wait.
they delay it again. They know when it should release, and they knew they shouldn't,
They
and they
wanted to
had,
release before the holiday
of
came,
course,
and they
but I
wanted
don't
to make
think
holiday money.
I'm pretty sure though that that was a split decision with it. Like, yes, you want to make the holiday money, and
I
yes, you have
guarantee
people.
you the studio that was creating the game said, "Hey, this thing is we've got some issues here. It's not ready."
Yeah,
The higher ups were like, "Hell no, release it. How
exactly.
bad could it be?
So
Make it work." And they couldn't.
no, they couldn't.
They didn't have the time.
They promised they weren't going to do the crunch, and then they started doing the crunch, even though,
You
from what I
can't win,
understand,
dude. Yeah.
these
If you're on
people get
deadline for
paid a little bit
anything,
better. But it's just it's unfortunate that it's like a you like they have so many memes that I've been seeing of just like, oh, game, like, let it come out, and then it's like, why'd you release an unfinished game? But it's like you did this, like you are part of this
yeah,
whole
but
equation of it being
if you're
wrong.
the company, look at what Blizzard's been doing the past 20 years or whatever. They refuse, they just tell people, we're not giving you a release date. We're working on it. And when it's
I know.
ready, you will get
Yep.
it. You know,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't do that with this title, and they probably should have.
Yep.
It is what it
And
is. I mean, COVID affected
again,
everything this year. I'm sure that slowed production down big time all
yep.
summer long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they were just crunching at the end, and they didn't have time. And they released it anyway. And they just I
It
think the biggest problem
yeah,
is that they lied and they just told stupid stories when
they
they should have just been
should
honest.
have definitely, and that is part of the only reason that I'm like, all right, like this is part of it being wrong, is that they should have been upfront of like, hey, on the lower systems, because like you said, they said having trouble with the new systems. Now, what I'm thinking they meant by that is because they're gonna have a PS5 and Xbox Series X patch of like the PS5 version of the game in 2021. So I'm assuming that's what they meant, is that like on release they won't have like that version ready, not
Mhm.
that the PS4 slash Xbox One, what do you call it,
They didn't say
upwards
there was just all
upwards
kinds of
scaling,
problems. That's for
upwards
sure.
compatibility. But you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that one ran fine, but they definitely did not show anything, and they had like everyone under the tight lip, which isn't abnormal. Like everyone that gets an advanced copy always is under scrutiny to not release anything until the date. Like they get this as part
Sometimes
of the
it
deal.
depends. A lot of
Well,
companies do that now where they want it out early so people get excited and spend
right,
their money on
but
the game.
it's you've seen it both ways. It's not like this is
But
completely
now it
unheard
seems
of.
underhanded, right? Like now it seems like
Yeah,
all these
it can
streamers
be.
who
It can
got
be.
it, but
It
and
can
reviewers
seem
who
that
got
way.
it were forced to sign non-disclosure
Yes,
agreements
there
to
you go.
not release any video footage whatsoever because if they did, that would affect their bottom line extremely.
Hmm.
You know,
But
so
again, it's also one of those things where the game was so highly like weighted on that to release things that could be like story spoilers, or just like you don't want to, like, you want everyone to
that
try
I
and get
understand.
a chance. So
They do that
that
with
could also
movies
be
too.
part
I
of it.
get it.
That's what I'm
Shows.
saying. It's just because the way it went, you could easily like swing it that way when that may not have specifically been the intention. Not like, oh, don't show our garbage gameplay. It could have been for other reasons, and it just happened to be that. Because again, this
Well,
is
that's a big
also,
one
like
though.
you said, like COVID, and also the weird rarity of the next gen systems. Because if people had their PS5s and their Series X's, this may not even have been as many people going crazy, because if most people had those systems, they may have just been playing it on those, and it would have been just those people that were left out in the cold with the older gens that was like, hey, this is bad. You know what I mean? Like it was an extra bit of suffering that they went through. I feel
Left
like
out
that,
in the cold.
yeah, which we all
Left out
are,
in the
or most of us
gaming
are.
cold.
Yeah, it's true though.
No,
But
you're right. I get it.
it's another circumstance that affected it. But I'm liking the game. I'm having issues with it,
I'm sure
but
it'll be great once they
they,
complete the updates
they
on them.
will definitely get it going. And it's one of those things where I'm going to play it on the PS4 just to go through it, to have fun. Eventually, I'd like to play it on the PC, but I'd like to upgrade my PC at that point. I feel like this could be definitely a gorgeous game, and by then it'll probably be the best version of the game to play at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, the story seems very cool. I like a lot of the aesthetics of the game. I'm liking all the weird like futuristic like you're hacking things, that kind of like it's a very
Bro,
cool
you're
theme.
hacking.
I don't really
I hear my
like
son scream about
I'm not
this.
a
When he
what?
gets beat in Fortnite, you're hacking, bro. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
they're hacking.
Yep, everyone's a hacker. I'm not a huge fan that it's a shooter in the end. Having come from Witcher 3 with like swordplay and magic and that kind of thing, it's like a weird style. Like it's not even like Mass Effect. I enjoyed the shooting in that one. This is not quite like even like Red Dead was a style of shooting. This is almost feels a
Red
little
Dead was
GTA-ish.
satisfying, though, the shooting. That was the best part of the game.
Yeah, but GTA is what this game kind of feels like, but not a good GTA. So that's why it's like, this isn't, no matter what anyone said, whether it graphically was gorgeous or whatever, gameplay wise, I don't think it's like beating tropes that were already in existence. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like there was going to be disappointment in some aspects, but it's not a game. It doesn't mean I'm not playing it. I'm just saying like, if I'm going to compare it to something else, I think they did it better than this.
Yeah.
But this has other things to make up for it, which is why it's like a give and take. It's just unfortunately everyone's focusing on like these really bad negatives, which they are working on getting, fixed, but it's just a lot of people just got super disappointed. And again, like
Yeah.
I could take No Man's Sky where it's like blowing up right now, but I had such an awful experience in the beginning of just like the monotonous of what you were doing and not what they expected, that I never went back. And I could see people with Cyberpunk doing the same thing. They got their refund and they'll never return. It's a complete shame because I think that they probably would have enjoyed this game if they didn't have that bad experience that may have turned them off forever.
Yeah, some people will come back, but I think a lot of people that actually went as so far as to return the game are probably turned off at this point, and they're just like,
Right.
Forget it.
I also think it's a matter of they're like, I'm gonna get my full money back, and then maybe I'll just buy it when it gets dropped in price because it's totally going to. It's totally going to. Like, there's no question in my mind.
Oh, it will.
The game's gonna drop for sure, which is again saddening because I
Oh, a
think
lot of
eventually
games do. I mean, that's not a total surprise, but this is
but
one that shouldn't have had to.
it shouldn't have. Exactly. That's the thing. It definitely shouldn't have, and they'll definitely. I have faith that this company will definitely eventually get it right. It's just this was a big debacle of how this released
Of
and
epic proportions.
yeah, this will definitely be a thing that is
It's gonna go down in the annals.
Yeah, like this will be like my game will not be like Cyberpunk. Like that's what will be said in the future.
Yeah, you're right.
This is like the bottom line.
That's gonna be the line for a while.
Yeah,
this will not be a
really
Cyberpunk.
bad.
Like the exec comes in.
It's like, oh my god, like can you imagine that? Like talk about like you're the epitome of embarrassment in the gaming world now. At this
It's
point.
so bad, yeah.
Like, nothing is lower than this now. Like what can you name that was like in recent like this is the new horrible norm.
Right. And if you work in the industry, you're associated with it. It's like, ooh, how dare you?
And they were, praised.
And it sucks because it's
not.
It's probably not any particular group's fault, other than just the mishandling of it.
It's a bit of a few things, is what it is, and it just went down. It was like the perfect storm of a horrible thing. But you know what though? I'm hoping that this does in fact bring some good change to the industry, because you know what? How many times have things been released that are unfinished? Like we mentioned in like the last two podcasts.
Oh, for
like
sure.
Day one, you have this huge patch.
Tons of unfinished games that either have a day one patch or
the days of getting your game and putting it right in the system and playing are completely over. You have to download some crazy patch. Call of Duty is like half your evening of updating before you even get to play every time now at this point.
Almost.
And that's just that's like it's it's just one of those things where it's frustrating, and I would hope that with this negativity, that other studios might shift away from doing that crap of releasing an unfinished game that they just quickly take care of in the first
I have
week.
I have a hard time seeing it, man. What has to happen now is, and there's still people in plenty of parts of the world that have somewhat lousy internet too. So like, they can't even sit for a download like that. Like you have to leave it on for a few days at that point. And it's like, why? You know.
But I say that in the sense that like this was such a bad experience, and that everyone's talking about it, that the fear of not like you yourself not becoming a follow through of this, of like trying to release as much of a completed game as possible.
Yeah.
Because like Fallout 76 released, I was so glad that I had a GameFly pass at that point, and I was
Bethesda's
able to get
feeling good about that now, right?
now it's gotten good, but like this game, like where was the clamor for that? Like of everyone being like, this was garbage. All I wanted to do was play multiplayer, and you didn't even put people in the game.
You did hear it though.
Put people in the game.
Yeah, you did hear it. I remember hearing a lot of complaints.
Not to the extent of this. And granted,
not
why?
like
Because
this.
it just wasn't a buggy mess.
And like I said, because they didn't lie to people, it was just a garbage game.
I would disagree. I would think that you absolutely lied to people in the sense that you're saying you're coming out with a Fallout game and you exclude everything that makes it a Fallout game. It is a lie.
They did.
How do you do that? So, yeah, that's, and again, no one's lawsuiting, no class action for them at that point.
True.
For a game
maybe they did and no one heard about it. Who knows? But you're right. You never it didn't get the fanfare. You're right.
To me, this, it would not be, I don't think it should be worth doing that right now, just because they feel like they lost money.
They'll get some back. But
yeah, like you're an investor.
It's going to take a while.
You're basically gambling with your money anyway. That is the entire point of the stock market. There's no guarantees with that. How many people tank and lose, and there's no guarantee. You know what I mean? Like you hope to do well, and that is the whole thing.
It's educated guesswork.
Yeah. So, I could just see them being angry, and then you just sell your stock. Isn't that how investors work? If you don't like what they're doing, you get out.
You try without taking too big of a hit.
Yeah, but again, then that's what happens. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the thing. So anyway, that's me. And again, I don't mean to get heated over this. I really don't have any personal stake.
Getting very excited.
It's just it's frustrating to hear how some of these things go, and people not like accepting how it really went down, or what I mean, like you're focusing on one thing but not acknowledging others. And the bottom line is that this was a very like embarrassing release for this company, and it could have went other ways. What could have been done different? I think they honestly should have just not released it for the PS4 and the Xbox One. It should have just been for the PS5. I mean, like let the old generations. It's done. Like you don't get it. It's not.
They should have just waited and pushed it to next gen only. But it was too late at that point. They were taking pre-orders way too early. They couldn't have predicted that COVID was going to happen, and
well,
it was just a debacle.
And like, how were they just focusing on it being a PC game and not focusing on the consoles too much? Because like we've seen like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2, all these other games that look beautiful on the PS4 Pro.
Yep.
And it can be done. Last of Us 2, gorgeous game, can be done.
What's wrong with you guys?
They didn't do that because not enough details, like not enough attention. Were they like assuming it would work and then didn't? Like it's tough. Like I'm not saying it's easy to make a game. Like this was clearly a huge collaborative effort gone in, and it's like I said, it's a shame because what I've been experiencing when it is working fine is certainly great. Again, I don't think it's going to be like this was the game of the year that people were expecting. Like I think it definitely underwhelmed in certain gameplay aspects.
This was supposed to be the game of the year.
The end of the world. Yeah, it's not the end of the world as far as that.
That's part of the problem too. It was billed as the game.
Yeah, but again, that's also part like public perception too.
For sure. Oh yeah.
It's hard. And again, what they sold us on many moons ago at E3 of how this game looked and how it ended up being coming out with.
Yeah, do you remember Bethesda I don't know if it was the Game Awards or E3, But they dropped a teaser for Elder Scrolls 6. And now we learn, obviously, 2 years after that Bethesda was purchased by Microsoft, and then now the wait still continues. So you don't know when they're gonna start investing in that title or what. Because honestly, that is one of the only games I'm really, really looking forward to on that level of like, oh boy, I can't wait till it comes out. Sort of becoming like a Final Fantasy VII situation, because Skyrim came out in 2011.
Yeah,
We're nearing 10 years here. You know, but obviously they moved to Elder Scrolls Online, but to me that was a misstep. Like the gems were really the single player games.
I mean, it's weird.
Not
though,
to offend
like,
anyone that loves Elder Scrolls Online, but
I just think like with Skyrim, the whole dragon aspect like really changed it, because taking the dragons out, it was similar to Oblivion. You know what I mean? Like there isn't like too much of a difference. Otherwise, you just don't have those stupid the Oblivion gates and stuff where you're in like the hellscape areas.
yeah,
Like, that's really the big difference. But the dragons, like that was huge, and the shouting, like that extra ability you get,
sure,
was very cool. But are they like?
yeah, but you see how, but you
what are you
see how
doing?
these like newer games look, and like it's just really exciting to think that the next installment of Elder Scrolls is gonna be on that level. That's what I'm excited about.
Sure.
So.
Sure. I just again like having a game look very good and be engaging and you know what I mean, like I didn't like, I liked how Skyrim looked, but it wasn't like everything was at the same time. Like how many dungeons you go into that look
Oh
exactly the
yeah,
same.
they're
You know what I
exactly
mean?
the
Like
same. Yeah.
there's nothing. It wasn't anything about that pulled
But
me.
back then it was the for me at least, it was the dragon stuff, yes, but it was like the environments and just walking
True.
from place to place without fast traveling.
Yeah, that always did it in the even in Oblivion. Like that was always a fun part of traversing these worlds,
Yeah.
for sure. But I just think like I was never super hooked. Like I liked playing them, but it didn't suck me in the same way that Skyrim did. Skyrim was lightning in a bottle in that sense.
Oh,
For
it was
what
good timing. It was just a lot of things. You're right.
so I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to what they'll release. I'm just don't think we're going to be able to play it.
For the next
It'll be on the
15
Xbox.
years, it's another FF7 situation.
No, I
When
just
I'm
think it'll
old
be
and
on the
gray,
Xbox.
I will be able to finally
Microsoft owns them, and they'll
on my
probably just be
Xbox
like,
One, Xbox
Yep,
One, Xbox
it.
One XXX Series X. I will finally get to play.
all right, we'll name it something tongue
Similar.
twistery.
I mean, how many
Because we
Xbox? You know, how many times? I guess whatever. You know.
1X.
Yeah. You know. But either way, we've been dropping some cool stuff on YouTube, man. I played.
Absolutely.
What did you've been playing a ton of Project Zomboid.
Yeah, and
Tons.
the
If you like that game,
full year challenge definitely ended already. I kind of was just taking too long in how I've been playing, but you know, I'm an old man. It's between balancing work and stuff,
it's like sitting down
I'm
to an old book.
Yeah, I'm continuing it until I die in that game, because it is like once you're dead, the character's done. But I've been doing well, surprisingly, and I am enjoying the game. Still waiting for more updates from that company, because I'd like to get into multiplayer with this patch.
Yep.
I did gift it to you, but we're gonna have to wait until there's multiplayer.
I've got it.
I think it'll be fun. It reminds me of like that Ultima Online-esque
Top-down view, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's definitely difficult, but it's fun. I could see it being a lot of fun together, but I don't think I could go back to the older patches that are multiplayer right now.
Yeah.
It needs to be this current patch, which they just haven't released for everybody yet.
All right. Well, let me know when it does, and we'll definitely check that out. I've been playing, and I purchased Deliver Us the Moon, which is it was awesome, and I uploaded. I'm finishing pretty soon the uploads of all the playthrough for it from beginning to end. So if anyone wants to check it out, is thinking about playing it, you can see it's a puzzle game. So if you enjoy puzzle games, this is definitely something that's cool for me. Space stuff always speaks to me, so it was a good combination of types of game that I like and space, and I thought it was awesome. And it was quite glitchy, But other than it being glitchy, the glitches didn't ruin it for me. It definitely is a story-driven game also, but there's a point in the game where you can do a few things. So there's one aspect where you are in space and you have this, you control yourself as like a flightless.
Like spacewalking?
Yep, spacewalking. And there's a point of the game where you have to there's a lot of timed challenges, so you have to do certain things in a certain amount of time, otherwise you die. Lots of that. So there's this one point in the game where you get to actually drive on the moon in this like big rig thing that's quick as hell, and it rides like some sort of Tesla machine. It's just incredible, that experience alone. So I just uploaded that. I think that's either part 6 or 7 of the series that I'm uploading. That's already on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, it's a lot of fun. And if you like slow-paced games that are still a little nerve-wracking and challenging, I would definitely check it out if you like that kind of stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, for those that are watching us on YouTube, definitely continue taking a look at what we have available.
Lots more content going to be on YouTube in the coming days.
That, like and subscribe button when you can, because it does help us out, and to keep bringing out some content. And we would definitely love to hear from you as well. If you want to even reach out to us, whether it's in the comments of the videos or on Twitter.
Catch me at Merlin the Mage.
On Twitter.
Yes, sir. And at VG Boys to follow the drops for the podcast stuff as well if you need.
Yep, and we monitor that as well, and absolutely we'll reach out to you. So let us know, and welcome to 2021, and
Happy New Year.
This is another great year. Yeah, Happy New Year. Good riddance 2020.
Yep, hopefully 2021 is a bit nicer to us, and we could all try to get along a little bit more if we can. Just help out your fellow man if you can.
Absolutely. Stay healthy.
Any which way.
Stay safe. But
mostly don't be jealous. What? It's the VG Boys.
Are you just jealous? 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 Cause we're the VG Boys. Yeah. Are you just jealous? 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 Cause we're the VG Boys.